Ladies and gentlemen, fellas, welcome back to the channel and the podcast. Today, a little bit something different. We're about to hop into a video in a mock draft, not even a mock draft, an actual draft into the Drafters $10,000 to first best ball championship tournament that the first round of it, as of right now, me recording this, has closed. We actually got in, I think we shut down the draft. We shut down the bar, me and Peter Overzet. You probably know Peter from just the industry. Just fantastic mixture of comedy, but also analysis. So be sure to check out Peter's stuff if you have not yet already. But we just drafted a draft together in that best ball championship. So it's on drafters.com. Somebody that I've been a sponsor or has been a sponsor and I've been a partner with for the last year and a half to 2 years. So I'm assuming they're going to open up another one because why not if you filled it within a week? So we're just going to hop right into the stream. It's about an hour conversation of me and Peter drafting through some plays. I draft a little bit differently than a lot of the mocks, so I actually like that we went this way. It's a tournament where it's extremely top heavy to first, meaning that the first place prize is a huge drop off from like second, third, fourth, fifth, right? So you mainly just want to win first place. Obviously, if you win second or third, it's not terrible, but it's a huge drop off in your overall expected value long term of just betting and playing fantasy sports. So we're trying to go for first place, which means I'm going to be drafting, and we together drafted a little bit different than I normally do. Instead of going like 3 running backs in a row, right, or 4 running backs in the first 5 picks, I want to do that when I'm trying to beat 11 guys in a season-long league, right? But when I'm trying to beat another, I think there's 4,999 other people, 5,000 total people in this contest, you have to make sure that you differentiate yourself and get different. You don't want to draft the same team as somebody. That's the nut low. And you don't really want to be drafting all the safe plays or kind of the safe strategy. And the strategies that I use are really going to be good for just your season-long drafts. Beating 11 other people, you're going to dominate them. But when you're trying to beat 4,999 other people, you got to get a little bit crazy. So we do that in this video. Please do hit the like button and the big subscribe button before you get into it. Again, my Supreme Draft Guide, as you can see behind me right here, is out. It's just $10 right now thanks to Monkey Knife Fight. You can find out all the information about that down below. This is just some things of what's going to be in it. Rankings, reliability charts, overall draft strategy, rookie rankings are in their top 150s, tiers. You have all the player breakdowns, premium analysis, all that stuff. You can see key stats. So go ahead, check it out. It's going to be linked down below. And again, that is going to be sponsored by Monkey Knife Fight. It's only going to be $10. So this is a limited time offer. So be sure to check it out because I don't know how long they're going to let it last. So I'm going to just let this video play out. Once the actual draft ends, I think Peter closes it out and then the video will end. So I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being on the podcast. $50 giveaway every single week on the podcast to one person who reviews it. Only like 4 or 5 people are reviewing a week. So you got like a 20 to 25% chance of winning $50. You might as well do it over on iTunes, the Sal Vetri Show. I appreciate you all tuning in. Enjoy this video with me and Peter. I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, if you're joining us now, Sal is referencing that he is not drafting with Peter Overzet. He is, crap, my name says Peter Overzet. I have to edit this if I can figure it out how. But I am actually, in fact, the deposit king. You'll notice up here in the right-hand corner of my account on Drafters, I only have $7.60 because as the deposit king, I like to live dangerously close to the deposit level. Sal, that's how I feel alive. How good does it feel every time you deposit? Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's our sweats. That's how we're living here.
All right. So if you guys are tuning in, we are obviously drafting in the Drafters Best Ball Championship. There was literally like 85 spots left, I believe 80 after we registered. So if you want to hop in a draft, you have maybe 7 more cracks at it before this fills. But yeah. Sal, you and I have drawn the 8 slot. How many of these bad boys have you drafted?
So on Drafters, for this specific championship, probably like 3 or 4. Overall in Drafters a lot this summer, but yeah, probably for this one, like 3 or 4. 8 spot is honestly not the worst place to be, but definitely not my first choice.
Yeah, it is not my first choice either. Yesterday I was with Davis, and I believe we had the 6th slot. We ended up kind of doing a slight reach for Kelsey. What have you been doing in the back half of that first round?
Yeah, it depends what's there. I don't know why, like every single mock draft, if I'm like 7th through 10th, I just end up with Joe Mixon in just so much of these drafts, depending on the format. So I think Mixon in 2 of them. And I think I got Kelsey in 1 of them.
Yeah. So I've been, the one running back. See, Davis and I yesterday, I like Miles Sanders as kind of that one running back I'm willing to take late. And he actually fell to us in the 2nd round. But I feel like he's all over the map because you'll see him as early as, top 6 or 7 sometimes.
Yeah, I think 6 was the highest that I've seen him in a draft. I listened to podcasts and stuff. I heard him go 5th. And yeah, he's going to be like a staple in, I don't know, probably top 10 picks come August.
Yeah. Also looking at our league mates here, Hayden Winks just finds I guess I'm tweeting out the link to these. Hayden just finds his way into every one of my drafts, as does Eric Belair. Eric was literally drafting, not this exact same spot, but near the turn yesterday. So we got some guys that'll snipe us, Sal. So we got to be careful about the snakes in the grass.
Yeah, I know. We got some heavy honchos in here. Is that what we're dealing with?
Yeah, we got some guys that philosophically will think about drafting similar to us. Speaking of which, what are, you said you've done a few of these drafts in the big contest. How have you been altering kind of your strategy for a really top heavy contest?
Yeah, so it's just in sort of normally like round seven, after maybe round 6 or 7, start to just shoot for like more upside plays. I think you can kind of just like throw that out the window. And really, after you get your first 2 or 3 picks, you're feeling solid with whenever you're in, or at least how I've been approaching it, whenever it's a close call type of a decision, I'm usually just shooting for upside in those spots, really like round 5 and after. So maybe like 1 or 2 rounds higher, starting to shoot for upside instead of stability at those places. And it's not anything where there's like no floor on these guys, but just guys that you can actually see with like a top 10, top 15 type of a finish.
Yeah, the scared money don't make money. That's what the deposit king has always said. Oh, look at this. So, Sal, we got 7 running backs off the board, including Miles Sanders. What's your move here?
I mean, if I literally was just saying this before, this is always what happens with me. It's Joe Mixon on the clock, but I have if something happens to Joe Mixon this year, I think I'm gonna literally go bankrupt. So we're gonna have to see. Joe Mixon is what I'm looking at here, but it depends on which strategy you kind of want to go with. I'm open to guys like Kelsey at this spot too.
Do you have a stomach for zero RB, Sal?
So it depends on the actual contest. In this one, yes, because it's so top heavy. I've done like 2 0 RB approaches. I've kind of gotten somewhat like it in the Scott Fishbowl, but yeah, we're running out of time here. I'll do a 0 RB with you.
Okay, so then Michael Thomas or Kelsey. I feel like those are the 2 options.
Kelsey.
Okay, let's do it. Get our locked in tight end. This is similar to how Davis and I started yesterday, but I think Davis and I were able to pull the plug on Sanders in the second. That obviously is not going to be there. If your boy Mixon happens to fall to us, I think that is viable. Eric goes Kittle. Let's see what Shem Rice does here. Ooh, we get him.
I think Mixon. I'm trying to see what else is on the board, but I think Mixon is probably the move there.
Yeah, I mean, if Michael Thomas would have fallen, I would have wanted to go there, but I don't have a ton of Mixon. But with this build, I don't mind starting Kelsey Mixon. So let's get your guy.
There we go. We got both.
There you go. Yeah, and I do think we played that right, because I think if we did Mixon, we do not end up with Kelsey or Kittle.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what happens when you draft them with the deposit king. Things
That's
just fall
right.
your way.
Oh man, God, I have such a hard on looking at the $2.10 in my account, dude. Oh, the deposit is coming. Oh my goodness. Okay. Heading into round 3 here, are there any guys that you have been hoping to fall in this range? This is generally a big wide receiver range for me, but are there any running backs that would be really intriguing to you if they fell?
Yeah, so I guess right now, just looking at it, I mean, it depends on how far these guys are going to fall. Like a Chubb or a Josh Jacobs. If we wanted to go with some sort of Clyde Edwards-Helaire popping up, I think Mahomes already went, so any type of stack like that with Kelsey isn't probably on the cards anymore. Mahomes is gone, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
he
he's
did
already
go.
gone. So yeah, I'd probably end up going with some sort of top end wide receiver in this range, depending on what's left. But guys like Chubb and Jacobs, if they were to fall, I would think about them. But getting Joe Mixon doesn't make that as much of a priority.
Yeah. I can't, none of you guys reminded me to switch it to grid view. I had to do it on my own. Sal, every single one of these drafts, it's like the 11th round. And I remember I haven't switched it to grid view. Are you team grid or team list?
Yeah, definitely team grid. I think like the first week or two, drafters didn't have a grid, and I did like 1 or 2 streams for the channel on there, and it was brutal. But then it just like popped up at the one day. Yeah, grid for sure. I always forget to do that with like what is it? The thing that the Scott Fish was on, like the My Dynasty League. It's
Yeah.
it's like the most obscure way to go to the grid. Yeah, but I'm definitely liking this view a lot more.
Yeah, someone had set up a calendar invite because I've been doing the streams on Fridays, and they set up a calendar invite to remind me to set it to grid view because once I start drinking and the randomizer kicks in, then I always forget about the grid view.
It's off the chains then. They scheduled it in for themselves.
So what do you got going these days? I know you're grinding all the sports, been doing some PGA stuff. You got your own channel. You've been doing some stuff at Osmo. What have you been working on lately?
Yeah, so the channel. So right when all the pandemic started to happen, pretty much I wanted to really start backloading. It was an excuse to start backloading in a positive way, like NFL content. That was like the one piece. So I started doing this full time, like officially last August. And the NFL stuff, like season long, I didn't touch it at all because I wasn't even sure. I was just kind of just grinding out DFS videos, and that's what I was doing. But there's just a big reach in just the season long space. So I always wanted to make content. Finding a schedule for it was the issue, but once like the NBA went down and golf, it made it a lot easier to do that. So still backlogging that, but golf is probably right behind NFL for sports I enjoy the most. So the fact that that's back with Millie Makers every week, it's just been really enjoyable from like content viewership, but then also playing it on my end.
Yeah, I feel like a common refrain you hear from people right about now. It's like, man, I didn't do enough with my free time in quarantine, getting together on projects. Sal, you do not strike me as someone that would fall into that grouping.
Yeah, no. So I mean, I guess, yeah, I guess I was the opposite. I think it's just because like if I worked for either like one of the sites in the industry or just did this as like a side thing, I probably would have just like chilled and just hung out, watched more Netflix. I don't even know what, but like it was just more so, it was more so like pressure to be like, I have no idea what's about to happen in these next however many months still going on. So I just started piling up that content for NFL. And then like honestly, following in your lead, the what was it? Still ranked number one, like League of Legends in the world, right? We can't actually identify who's number one, but I think you're there in the back end. Yeah, so followed in your footsteps, the great League of Legends king as well, and went into that space, and that was fun. Surprisingly, still is fun.
It was shocking to me. You know, everyone I think that are just regular major sport DFS players, they dismiss it offhand or whatever, and then you realize it's actually a really fun DFS game and it's a great sweat. I think it surprised a lot of people.
Oh yeah, so like I'm usually up early, and I was one of the people who was just like, all right, this is like a dumb game. Like I'm not watching. I was like literally saying that in some of my videos. I was like, I can care less about watching this. And like some people were trying to discredit me. I see we're on the clock, but then I had a sweat at like 5 a.m, and I was like, this is actually fun. I'm hooked for the next couple months.
For sure. So a lot of the running backs, Edwards-Helaire would have been interesting. I don't like this running back tier here, but there's some awesome wide receivers. Do you like a guy over here?
Yeah, I'm looking at the wide receivers right now. Allen Robinson went.
No, he didn't.
So I like Allen Robinson and DJ Moore right now. I'm fine with either of those unless somebody else stands out to you.
Let's do DJ Moore just with the higher ADP here. We can see if he come, and you do not have to sell me on DJ Moore. Okay, so yeah, we'll have him coming back. Mike Evans goes automatically right after us. We'll see what Eric does here. From a construction perspective, I think we can do a lot of different things here. But there goes. Sorry. We lost Allen Robinson.
Robinson went. That's fine. There's still guys left.
So it sounds like you prefer, I get that a lot of those guys are kind of jumbled up there, but you prefer Robinson even over Evans?
Yeah, I have Evans right now at 10. I have Robinson at 8. So it's close. Yeah, right now I prefer Robinson.
Are you, is it just, obviously Robinson is great. Here we are on the clock. Who is your next wide receiver here? Assuming that you do want to go wide receiver.
Yeah, let's go with this. So we already took the running back, but let's just go more wide receivers here. So I have Odell 9. Odell's still there, right?
He is.
Yeah, so I have Odell, and then after that, for me, my highest rank would be Robert Woods and Thielen in that order.
So I don't have a lot of Odell, and it sounds like he's your highest ranked guy. I'm down to mess with Odell here.
Yeah, he's my highest ranked guy left at receiver.
Let's do it.
And he's like the highest ranked overall. Like Mark Andrews is close in like just an overall ranking, but like a lot of the running backs are already gone. Quarterback probably don't need to take.
Yeah, I am glad. That is the thing here. I would rather be, taking Joe Mixon in the second than having to reach for one of these guys who I think there's a pretty clear tier break there. Yeah.
The spot that Mixon fell to is really nice.
Yeah, so from our start here, this is definitely like my preferred construction in most best ball drafts, and especially in these kind of tournaments. So we lock up an elite tight end, we get a bell cow running back. We hope, please mix and catch some passes this year. Are you at all worried about Gio Bernard still kind of stealing that pass work?
No, like if any, I think the biggest thing for me is just holdout, which I don't think these guys are holding out. But yeah, no, I'm not concerned with Gio. Like I actually think Gio. He got paid last year, which if he didn't, I would actually think he was a pretty high like cut candidate for one of those guys who you're like, oh, LaShawn McCoy got cut like last year. I would think he would be one of those, but they extended him beginning of last year, so I doubt it.
Yeah, that is the thing for me about a lot of those guys like Miles Sanders too, Henry, Mixon is I certainly see the upside case. Like you don't have to convince me on that. I just also see a lot of downside risk if they don't end up catching passes, if they're on the wrong side of touchdown variance. But you also get excited about Mixon with Burrow, hopefully injecting that offense with a faster pace, more passing, more red zone opportunities. So that's definitely exciting.
Yeah, and like since he's come into the league, he's top 5 in the NFL in just all in terms of yards created, evaded tackles, everything that you can just put the team on your back, and he's done it. Like he's relevant because of not his offensive line or his offense, like literally himself. So the offensive line's not going to be great. Like Jonah Williams comes back, he was hurt last year, that should help. And then if the offense in general is better, you get like a 12 touchdown, 13 touchdown season out of him. That's when he really starts to pay it off, and this is his best opportunity to do it yet.
Let's talk about my guy. Willis is awesome. Out of the 3 hole in the chat, he's been asking me when we're doing these drafts so he can get in here. And Willis, let me tell you, brother, your testosterone is through the roof. Not only 2, not even 3. He comes and bangs Leonard Fournette in the late 4th.
Oh, I love it.
You love the robust RB start?
Yeah, that's probably my preferred. In these big tournaments, it's like maybe 50-50. I still lean probably just like the robust RB start. I'm fine going 4 running backs in a row. Like if that type of guys, those guys are there, where he gets Eckler, where he gets Fournette. So yeah, I like seeing that. In season long stuff, like that's what I'm doing all day long. If it's tournaments, I'll switch it up a little bit, but like I'm fine not going 0 RB or anything like that when I only got to beat like 10 or 11 guys.
Yeah, and out of the 1 hole, the blocker chain, he goes 4 running backs as well. So a popular strategy. The thing that gives me pause is, Rotoviz has done some good research on this. Mike Beers has shown that you can do these best ball drafts with that hyper fragile strategy where you start with 3 elite running backs. The key, though, that they've shown in the win rates, and granted this is for 12-team leagues, is that you don't come back to that running back for a long, long time. So I don't mind the 3 running back start. To me, the 4 is a bit overkill. Whoa, Willis, he says, I do not care. I am going 5. Willis, what are you doing? 5 running backs. He's been injecting steroids during the draft.
He's ODing over there on that one. And he took Mark Ingram with the 5th one too. He's ODing over there.
Willis, you are a madman. Okay, we are almost on the clock here. What are you seeing on the board here? I'll go to the all tab.
Yeah, so I mean, it depends on how late. I think we get in this range. I don't want to really be drafting tight end. It depends on you, but is Robert Woods still there?
Let's see here. It looks like Woods went.
Okay,
yeah,
Woods
just
went.
before us, back to back.
I was about to say because I didn't see him. Damn. All right, so he was pretty high for me. Yeah, now it's like kind of a tier break where these wide receivers. It's like the upside guys, the McLaurins, the DK Metcalfs, like those guys start to stand out for me at wide receiver. Running back, it's almost like it's not the guys you're probably gonna like your David Montgomerys, Le'Veon Bells. I'm okay on David Montgomery. I don't mind him, but I think like a McLaurin or a Metcalf here probably gives us a bigger upside if we're just gonna wait on running back.
Yeah, I love both of those guys. Pick which one you like better, and we'll do one of them.
Oh man, we might be able to get both. I think whichever one's ranked higher, but I'll take DK.
Yeah, let's do DK. He has a slightly higher ADP. We should also probably start thinking about stack options. Obviously, Mahomes is off the table for Kelsey. DJ Moore with Bridgewater, Beckham with Mayfield, and Metcalf with Russell are all still in play here. Terry McLaurin does go to Eric. We only have 2 quarterbacks off the board. I do think we would probably miss out on Russell if we don't take him here. What do you think about reaching to get that stack, or is this too early for you to take a QB?
It's kind of the in-between ground. I probably lean not to take the quarterback here, but I think like Russell Wilson is probably the one guy in those middle tiers that has the highest ceiling, not only just because of the rush upside, but if they throw like 35 times a game instead of 29 or 30 like they have the last 2 years, like he's set to pop off. And I've said it like multiple times this year. I think DK Metcalf, if not this year, by the end of next year, he'll be pushing like a top 15 to top 10 receiver in the league.
Yeah, and I do think you do kind of want to go out of your way to stack in this contest. And because Mayfield and Bridgewater are going to be affordable stack options later, if we do want the Metcalf stack, I think we need to do it now. I don't mind taking a big cut here in the 6th round, considering how this contest is structured.
Yeah, as long as we don't get sniped here, I'm fine going Russ. Like you almost know what to expect in a way out of Deshaun Watson, in a way out of Dak. Like you're drafting them at what their ceilings probably are, whereas Russ can easily be what those guys are if he just gets a rushing upside for once, but if they just start throwing a little bit more per game.
Yeah, and when you look at ADP right now, he has the exact ADP of where we're picking him at, 53.6. We're at pick 53. We're not really reaching for him, and I just love getting these stacks because if Metcalf has a top 10 season, that means Russ is going to be a top 2 quarterback most likely.
Exactly.
Let's do it. Let's get that stack. It'll give us a lot of options. And also, in general, with these drafts too, I like getting that upside quarterback one because it opens up your optionality in these middle rounds. Like, we're not going to be forced to reach for quarterbacks because we've already locked that up. We can really draft kind of the best players on our board when it comes around.
Yeah, and it just prioritizes it when you do it this way. Well, obviously, we're getting that stack locked in with Russ, whereas later on, you don't know when people are going to start to pull the trigger on the Bakers and if you're waiting an extra round or not. Whereas Russ is not going to be there probably at that next pick.
Yep. So recapping our team so far, I love it. Top tight end, top running back, 3 wide receivers, and a really high upside stack here with Russell Wilson. I do agree with you. I mean, I don't even think it's a minority opinion anymore that if Russ was, say, in the Chiefs offense, that he would produce pretty similarly to Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mahomes has the overall better arm, but it's not like it's far apart. Like, they're probably both top 3 in the league.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are the other kind of mid-round guys? You do say you have a little love for some of these running backs in this range. How are you shaking out on these rookie running backs? Because they're kind of interesting guys where sometimes people love them and reach for them, and then sometimes you'll see in these drafts, Akers, Dobbins, Swift will fall.
Yeah, so for me right now, it's Akers. Where Dobbins is going, it's weird. Like, on some sites, they have his ADP like popped up so far that you can't get him, but other sites he's going like around 9, 10, and he's fine there. But for me, it's Akers right now. I'm pretty, I guess, really bullish on him. He's my 25th overall just for like PPR redraft. So I'm pretty high on Akers. I'm expecting him to come in and be like the guy right away is what I'm kind of projecting it for.
Yeah, and where are you at? A popular narrative has now been, it's going to take a while for these rookies to get caught up to speed, not as many reps, training cramp, et cetera, et cetera. I personally feel like that's probably going to be more applicable to the wide receivers than the running backs. And it sounds like you think some of these running backs can step in and contribute right away.
Yeah, that's exactly. So I accounted for it maybe like early on with wide receivers. Like, guys, I'm probably like maybe a round apart on ADP on like Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lambs right now. I'm just not getting them. Wide receivers I'm ending up with like rookies are just Pittman and like Denzel Mims just because where they're going. But I agree. Like, I think naturally it makes more sense that wide receivers would struggle because you rely on your quarterback. First of all, you have a lot more of the playbook to learn, whether it's just blocking for running plays or just the route trees. And you also rely on your quarterback and a chemistry there for timing. Whereas a running back, like, you also rely on your offensive line, but for the most part, that's not going to change a ton through college. You just find your holes and you're instinctive. So yeah, I think the running backs for me, I'm not really weighting it all that much, at least in my rankings. Whereas wide receivers, I actually have like accounted for it a little.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I know it's never a fun topic, but man, I get more and more worried every day about just how this is all going to go off with a hitch. Are you as nervous as I am? Or are you holding out the faith?
So I think I just haven't like thought about it. Like, I just think I've told myself like it's got to happen because of the money that's going on. But I think whatever happens with the NBA right now, I know they've been just more time to prepare, I guess, early on. And the way that they're going about it seems fine. But whatever happens with them, if they can pull that off in a not crazy way, like I just saw Russ Westbrook's going to be out, he should be back. But if somebody's not missing the entire finals or a team, like if that can go off without a hitch, it'll give me a lot more confidence.
Yeah. Yep. And that was the thing. It seemed like the NFL was kind of, hey, let's just see what these other leagues do and we'll try to follow their blueprint. But now it's getting close and no one seems to have a blueprint. But we are on the clock here. We have a lot of interesting options. I mean, one thing I am seeing highly in my ranks here, we could mess around with a Jarvis Landry, Odell Baker stack. I don't know if that intrigues you. There are some of these tight ends that have fallen. Running back, you did mention you like Akers. I'll default to you on how you want to go here.
Yeah, so like I do like the idea of the Landry thing. I have Landry, so it's Devontae Parker then Landry for me. But actually, the way that we're building, I prefer Landry right now. And then I think Akers might fall back to us. I think I prefer Landry, but then Akers after that if he's still there.
Yeah, let's do it. If someone wants to snipe us on Baker this early without any of his pieces, they can do it.
Yeah, honestly, it'll help us a ton if we get him and they pop off, but we'll win either way.
There we go. We are chopping this straight up. Sal and I, when we win the 10K, 5K, I say we go on a trip. Sal, we go somewhere nice.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm down for whatever at this point. Need to get some traveling after this whole quarantine. How's it been? Where are you? How's it been by you?
I'm just outside of Boston, Massachusetts. So we've
Okay.
been pretty good with the lockdown, but now we're starting to enter our later phases. The gyms are allowed to open up.
Oh,
We've
nice.
already started to see our kind of case number already start to trickle up as things got more relaxed. So I'm worried we're going to be in the same spot as everyone else here real soon.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I'm already in that
Acres
range
here.
spot. Yeah, I'm good with acres.
Let's do it. Um, where did you say you are?
I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I think everything I've heard is that they're picking up. I check it. It's nothing like drastic compared to some states, but yeah, it's definitely popping off a little.
I just saw the kind of breaking news this afternoon is LA County has now re-shut down all their gyms and restaurants and indoor spaces.
Yeah, they were really strict. I have a friend who I went to college and high school with. He's out there, and during the quarantine, like they were one of the first people to have all the masks going and like making like fines and arrests and stuff for people. They've been really strict over there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Man, every day we just got to keep praying, keep wearing our masks. We need football. We need it bad. Let's check in on this team. We got our 2 running backs. We got 4 wide receivers. We have the Russell Wilson Metcalf, Kelsey holding it down for us at tight end. I like the construction of this team a lot so far.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice that we got Kelsey. We don't have to like these rounds where everybody's about to start popping these tight ends off. We don't really got to go there.
Yeah. What other have you been doing? Other drafts this season? Do you do any of the dynasty drafts? Are you in the fishbowl? What are you working with?
Yeah, yeah. I'm in the fishbowl right now. We're actually. I guess I don't really know too much about what like every other league is doing. I see some leagues on Twitter are finishing up. We're like in the 21st rounds. We're pretty much almost done in that. But yeah, I have. I did 3 dynasty starts. About to start another one with some friends back home. But then yeah, I'm in the fishbowl right now, finishing that up.
Yeah. That is the one thing, the beauty of dynasty, of best ball, of fishbowl. It's like, I'm just enjoying the drafts for what they are because we do have the drafts. They will never be able to take the drafts away from us. They can take the season away from us, but they cannot take those drafts. We get that dopamine rush. I mean, what more can we ask for other than that slow drip?
Yeah, that's our sweats this year. Just getting sniped in some mock drafts and some Scott Fishbowl drafts to start the year.
Yeah, I know. I probably should have done more of a dopamine thing. I basically turn off all my notifications unless I'm on the clock. And now just thinking out my logic, I'm like, I probably should have just had every pick notification just so I could get that drip, drip, drip. But as you know, Sal, it is hard to stay focused and get things done when you have notifications coming in at all times.
Yeah, I think like a year ago I turned off I think the only notifications I get are just like text messages now on my phone. I had to turn off like everything, whether it was Twitter or just like Instagram, because yeah, I'd spend probably like an extra hour a day literally checking notifications that I just shouldn't.
Yeah, it's my downfall. It's fun to keep TweetDeck up, but man, it's like it's light and day. My productivity when I close that out, and you feel like you're on top of the world. You're like, holy cow! Think about
Yeah.
what I could do if I never allowed these distractions into my life.
Yeah, like when I wake up, like before I have coffee, I'm like half a brain. So I just like sit there and scroll through everything. And then like it'll someday just get out of control if there's anything entertaining on there. And it's like I'll get up and it's like an hour into my day and I'm just like crap.
I know. My big thing that I go back and forth on having success on. I was dialed into it last year and I would do my morning routine without looking at my phone. So I would read, do
I
some
like that.
yoga, little meditate, and boom, it set me up. And since quarantine, I've gotten off of it and I get back and forth on some days, but man, that's a game changer for me when I can stick to it.
Yeah, that's huge. I think reading in the morning is something that I did it during quarantine for like a couple of weeks. I just can't fit it in any other time, and I don't know what it is. I just can't get back into it. That's like the one thing that I wish I can get right back into. Like if I had to like list like things that are extremely important to, I don't even know, smart success, whatever. Like reading's probably the biggest one, at least for me through college was.
For sure. Yeah, I established that routine last year and it was great. We can circle back to this. We are on the clock
Yeah.
here in the ninth. This is the board. What are you thinking here? Any positions you want me to look at?
Yeah, I mean, running back's not going to be anything great right now. So honestly, I'm still fine going. We already got Russ. I'm fine still just loading up on receivers at this point.
Yeah, what do you so we have some upside options. Who's jumping out to you here? Yeah, tight end is kind of gross.
Yeah, so I think Devontae Parker went. So I have
You
Brandon
did.
Cooks as my best available, but just trying to like build for this format. I actually don't think that's terrible.
Yeah.
Like where he's getting drafted, he could be their wide receiver one. So like I have Brandon Cooks. I don't really want Crowder in this format. Yeah, Cooks is probably the guy who stands out the most because all these other wide receivers, they're probably going to be there in like a round or two once you get to like the N'Keal Harry type range. Nicole Hardman might go, but that's fine.
Yeah, let's do it. I don't have a ton of Brandon Cook shares, but I'm looking at the board and there's no one that is really jumping out to me as a must have. The nice thing about this Mayfield is I think we can still sit on it for a while. I can't imagine anyone taking him over some of these other options. I do think we could consider grabbing another tight end here. I kind of like this range. I'm a big Gesicki, Hawkinson guy. Who of this kind of third tier of tight ends do you like?
Yeah, Gesicki's going to be up there for me. So I'm big on Gesicki. He's 10th for me right now, but then Jonnu Smith's 11th. I think that's like the highest gap for me in tight ends is probably Jonnu, but yeah, I have Gesicki ahead of him. So I actually took the same exact setup if we get Gesicki, Kelsey and Gesicki in the Scott Fishbowl. So I'm big on Gesicki.
Yeah, I love that combo. Pat Corain and I are doing an FFPC main event draft right now, and we did Mark Andrews this is a spoiler alert because we haven't done the mini up on it yet, but we got Hawkinson in that. So I love getting one of those elite tight ends and then one of the breakout tight end guys in Gesicki, Font, and Hawkinson really fit that bill for me.
Yeah, I like that. And I listened to two of those so far, like the little the shorter form content. I like that. I don't think a lot of people like Manny Laura does one, but I don't think a lot of people do the shorter form stuff. And at least to me, it's very appealing. I think that's where it's so like the 30 to an hour podcast, an hour plus is everybody, but like there's just a different niche. You could fit it into your day a lot easier.
Yeah, people are already mad at me for spoiling. Sorry, I felt like it was weird not to say it after I'd started. What do you think? We go Gesicki here?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think right now he's my. I think I have Gronk ahead of him, but then in this format, I'd rather have Gesicki. If Gronk might have went, I don't even know. I've been trying to check him off.
Sorry, no, Gronk is still available.
Yeah, I'm fine going Gesicki there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, for the short, people like podcasts for different reasons. Some people love the Joe Rogan 3-hour, throw it on, you have it all day. Similar to you, like when I see him pop up in my podcast feed, I have kind of like sometimes this weird, and this is like broken brain exhibit A, but I have this inbox zero feeling to my podcast. And so I will sometimes listen to the shortest ones first because it's like, oh, I'm going to get through that. So I see a JJ Zacharyson, quick bite-sized late round QB pod, and I'll just pop that on. So I do like the short stuff.
Yeah, I do the exact same thing with a lot of the PFF stuff. If it's like a title that sounds interesting, because those are normally like 10, 20 minutes. But yeah, I have the exact same thing, just whatever I can get knocked out the quickest.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know about you, but when I was before quarantine in the before times, I'd drive to work, I'd be outside way more doing stuff, and I would just listen to podcasts a lot more. But now that I'm at my desk all day, I'm, more listening to music so I can get stuff done, and I'm way behind on podcasts.
Yeah, so I've worked from home like the whole time, and I don't listen to podcasts really though. Like when I'm working at home, I'll either listen to like just music mainly or nothing. I don't know because a lot of the time I'm editing and stuff, so I can't really listen to anything. So yeah, for the most part, I'll listen to podcasts. Like I run a lot now, and they're starting to become longer runs, so I'll listen to podcasts on that, or if I just go to like the grocery store. But it's almost scary because I guess the gym is the main one. Like if I went to the gym, play basketball or something, I'd listen to something in my ears, but it's almost scary. Like everywhere I go, I'll listen to a podcast at this point, and I'm trying to like refrain myself because I'm not even like I'm in a grocery store with 2 headphones in. Not even about feeling like a douche, but just in general, it's like I can't even like understand what's going on in this store right now. It's kind of weird.
It is true because I love listening to podcasts when I'm, doing chores, it just, makes the time in the chores seem that much more doable. But then on the flip side, I have the same thing where I'll like hold off doing something until I get a podcast queued up. And I'm like, my brain is so broken. I can just do this right now without getting a podcast on.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, we truly have broken brains, but we're working around it. We're coming up here in the 11th. Let's see here. One time seems very A-grade. Drafting live and podcasting about it. Can't people in your draft watch your shit while they're drafting, or do you not give a fuck? Yeah, we don't give a fuck. We have made the decision. We aren't. If we talk about guys, that's why we're doing this. I'll answer this in a second. Sal, who do you like here?
Yeah, so if we're gonna go 0 RB, we're gonna have to probably attack it. Maybe starting next round because I think we can probably get another receiver here. But looking at it for me, yeah, I don't know. Like it's still a round or two too early to be taking like the Deshaun Jacksons, Michael Pittmans for me. Like Preston Williams, Anthony Miller, Justin Jefferson, those are the guys on the board for me, but they don't really do much. Like they're not going to move the needle. At least I don't think so. Maybe Anthony Miller.
Yeah. Yeah.
Running
Nikhil
back, there's nothing. Like there's no big difference in the next round of guys, unless like you want to go J.K. Dobbins or something.
No, Dobbins is gone, and I do agree this is pretty flat. The wide receiver I've been taking in this range would be Rager or Harry, but I don't mind Anthony Miller either. Who do you want to go with?
Let's go Harry. I just like the upside more, or the potential upside.
Yeah, we're trying to chase those second-year breakouts. Nikhil Harry, excellent prospect. Doesn't have a ton of competition for targets unless you think Edelman has a lot in the tank. And I actually think Cam and Harry are a pretty good combo here. What are we looking at coming back? I did agree with you completely that this is a pretty flat tier for running backs. That said, there are a couple that I really like in here, but I also do think we could grab another option would be, you mentioned Miller. I don't know if you have any love for Preston Williams. That could open up a cheap Dolphin stack later. But there's lots of different ways we could go here.
Yeah, I have Preston Williams 42 and Miller 43. So they're my two best available, and they're back-to-back guys that I'm fine with either of those guys. Because yeah, like I don't know, Cohen and like Lindsey, like at running back right now would be guys that probably aren't there next. But yeah, it's not moving the needle much. Like maybe Cohen, but it's either Cohen, Williams, or Miller for me right now. I think out of all those guys, I probably prefer Miller the most, but it's close.
Why don't we just do Williams, because we do have Gesicki and we could get a cheap stack with Fitzpatrick and then later.
Yeah, I like that. That's true.
Okay, to circle back to this question for one time. So basically what Pat and I are doing is we're releasing the episodes a little bit in delay, because if we're deciding between two specific options, like we had an episode where we were deciding between Sutton and Metcalf, and then we were picking in a few picks later. So we waited to release that until after, just in case one of them didn't make it back. So we're not going completely DGAF on it, but for the most part, and I'm curious to hear Sal's thoughts on this, is like, I feel like a lot of high stakes guys in general, people are secretive of their process and stuff. And while we don't have the high end track record of being great, what we can do is I think we have good process and we can share that with people. And there's lots of different ways you can go. We're not going a premium content model. We don't think that maybe down the road we would, but our idea is just let you in on how we're thinking about it. If we lose a little expected value, so be it. But as we all know with these picks, like you're making percentage probability based decisions. If we get sniped on one guy and we grab another, are we really losing that much equity? Sal, what is your thoughts on giving up our draft strategy via content?
Yeah, like I mean, first of all, like so many people are going to be doing it. So at that point, if you want to find strategy on it, like there's people who comment on some of my videos, like shh, like don't say this. Like people are talking about every single person that's being drafted or every single process. So yeah, you're just putting your input on it, because obviously you want to win these tournaments, and that's the whole goal of it. Whatever the percentage chances are, if you're using those strategies, yours are going to increase. And also, people have to keep in mind, like for the Millie Maker, people think like their videos are moving the needle. It might move it like 1% at most, and that's like very high. So like the few thousand people watching the content, if they all took your strategy, it's still not moving the needle, and it's probably not harming you all that much.
I did about 150 tweets about Patrick Laird one week and got him up to 2.4% Millie Maker ownership. So to Sal's point, it's very, very hard to move the
That's
ownership.
impressive too, actually. That's really impressive.
Here's a question for Mark. Is Drafters going to run another big tournament when this one fills? I have no inside information, but I would greatly assume that they would, considering how quickly this one filled and how much time we have before the season starts.
Yeah, I would think that it just makes a ton of sense from a business standpoint too. I was shocked to see it filled in like a week. Not that I've been using Drafters like a year and a half. I like it. It's just that in general, like even in bigger contests, like outside of DraftKings and FanDuel, most of these like third, fourth, fifth option sites, they don't fill that quickly.
Yeah, I think it speaks to just the hunger and demand there is to, one, not only draft, but to have a big prize up top. So, I mean, kudos to Drafters for getting that thing first to market with no other big contest going on right now. And yeah, I bet they've seen enough. And I would guess too that he'll be able to size it a little more aggressively this time, knowing the demand for it. The only thing I would like to see is a little flatter payout structure, just because it is so heavy to the top, which is fun going for extreme strategies. But for say the grinders that want to do, 50 to 100 drafts, it's a tough proposition.
Yeah, it's definitely tailored towards like the casual and just filling it compared to like the actual people who are just trying to max the thing out or whatever it might be. But yeah, it's like the Millie Maker on DraftKings right now. Even for golf, like this is the best Millie Maker they've had, and it's 33% the first. Normally, it's been like 40%. So it's just very marketing based, which is smart for them. Like right now, just trying to get this best ball stuff popping off more than some of the other sites.
Yeah. Okay. Checking in on this draft, we got too cute. Our guy Willis is awesome.
That.
Heard us talking about Mayfield. We do have a big quarterback run going here. 6 of the last 7 picks after us went QB. I do think we should look at some QB options here. Looking at our stacks, we obviously missed out on Mayfield. We don't have Watson. Cam is definitely an option. And then we do have the Dolphin stack in our back pocket, though we can wait on that. What do you think about Cam here with Harry, or do you prefer one of these enough to forego the stack?
No, yeah, Cam's my best available. I have Cam right now 11th overall at quarterback, so he's my best available quarterback and somebody that either way, even if there was no stack, I'd probably start thinking about taking at one of these picks at the turn.
Let's do it. I think what quarterback number are we on? We got to be on like 15 or 16, I would assume.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So yeah, getting Cam there, we stack him up with Harry. Gives us some nice upside, gets our second quarterback with Russ Wilson. We probably want to now grab a running back here coming back. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely. We need to get a couple of these guys.
So definitely some 0 RB candidates I like here. Talk through some of the running backs you've been grabbing late.
Yeah, so in a lot of my drafts, I'm honestly drafting like 3 to 4 running backs early and not even touching these guys. But at least in this range, which what I see at least left on this ADP is Zach Moss looks the best out of all those guys to me, at least for this format. Like a Jordan Howard, if you're just trying to get like your 4th or 5th guy in a standard league, but he's probably not winning you or moving the needle on your leagues. Whereas Zach Moss, if he takes on this Frank Gore role like they're saying, and he's clearly better than Frank Gore would have been last year just based on age alone, like there's a lot of upside there for a guy to have a 6 touchdown, 8 touchdown season. If he's going to get that 38% it was red zone work, and just be more explosive in the passing game. So that's the type of guy that makes sense here, especially if it's a 0 RB approach. Outside of that, like Duke Johnson is still there, or did he go to?
Let's see. I think he might have gone.
Yeah. Moss is the guy who's the highest for me right now. And then it's just a list of like your Chase Edmonds, your Boston Scotts, those types of guys.
Yep. So Moss does fall. I've been big on Moss. I think he's extremely undervalued at this price point. What do you think? We pull the trigger on him?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, there's a real case that could be a pretty clear 50-50 split if Moss like it's not going to seem like that right away, but if they're going to give Moss those 8 to 10 touches a game like they said, or even 8 to 12, and he does anything with them, why would they not give him 12 to 14?
I think it's free money. I think he's priced at his downside case right now, and there's so much room for upside. Like you said, this could be a completely even division. Zach Moss is most likely, based on his size profile and them losing Frank Gore, going to get the red zone carries. And he also profiled as a good pass catching back in college. So I'm not convinced that he's not going to get any pass work. So when you add that all up, and we know targeting rookie running backs in fantasy drafts is how we can really get outsized returns, I love it.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Okay, let's take a look at this team. I like this team because I definitely find myself drafting very similar guys over and over. So getting some portfolio diversification is good. And we are really balanced here. 2 QBs, 2 tight ends. We got our what do we got? 3 running backs. So we do need to start hammering that, but we're pretty set at wide receiver. Moore, Beckham, Metcalf, Landry, Cooks, Harry, Preston. I think it's time for us to bang some running backs here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you want to scroll up to the board? I want to see what this guy is.
Sorry.
I don't know what his name is now. You're good. Oh, it's Hayden. Yeah. So he just drafted Antonio Brown. I was going to say second sharpest guy in the room behind the deposit king. Cause I have Antonio Brown starred, but I thought he actually might last. 14th round is like exactly where I keep seeing him going. So I probably should have noted that.
Yeah, it is an interesting thing. I personally still kind of like taking some of these rookie wide receivers like Rager, like Ayuk. I really like Shenault. But again, once you get past that, I definitely see the upside case for Antonio Brown. He would have been good with us as a hypothetical New England stack as well, or the Russ stack. We kind of had both of his
that's true. Teams. Yeah, that's actually really true. And that's the thing, like, it works out better in this format because what is he? Isn't he supposed to be suspended for like 6 weeks or somewhere around there is what they're like projecting?
Yeah.
So it would help, I guess, a lot more in this type of a format.
And the nice thing, it's like for Antonio Brown, it's the opposite thing from the rookies where it's going to take them time to get up to speed. We saw Antonio Brown come in off the street, go into New England. What did he have? Like 11 targets. I mean, it was absurd.
Yeah, like a back shoulder touchdown pass, which like you need to have timing with your quarterback for that, and he did it in a week.
Yeah. Yeah, that is he is a guy that is going to be ready to go right away. Let's start to look at some of our running back candidates. I think we both are in agreement that we want to go there. There's definitely some intriguing guys for me here. Boston Scott is a guy I like a lot behind Miles Sanders. He caught a ton of passes toward the end of the year and just looked like an objectively good football player. Darrington Evans is a handcuff running back that I think has some standalone value and could be a monster without Henry. Edmonds is a really nice pure handcuff behind Drake. What are you seeing here?
Yeah, in this type of a format, I think Edmonds is my favorite. I don't know if we risk it to see if he comes back on the turn. If there's any, like I'm looking at Deshaun Jackson, Michael Pittman at receiver. I'd rather have over all these running backs. It's just a matter of like, do we think we get them? But yeah, right now, Chase Edmonds, Boston Scott in that order probably stand out the most for me. Sony Michel's a guy just like I'm totally out on. Even if like I rank him higher than them barely, I just don't really want shares of him.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think just structurally, we probably should continue to grab some of these running backs because I do again see another tier break with some of these zero running back candidates after 5 or 6 of them. Boston Scott does go. I say we get Chase Edmonds.
Yeah, I'd pull the trigger there.
Chase Edmonds. I mean, if Drake goes down, what? Edmonds is automatically like a top 8 running back, probably.
Yeah, and like in our industry, so many people talk about like every single rookie. So you hear like 7th round, Benjamin. He was a good prospect for like being a top 15 running back taken in the draft, but like it's still a 7th round pick. Chase Edmonds is somebody that invested higher capital. So yeah, I think he can work some 3rd down passing roles, but I think that's a lot of upside in like the 0 RB department. And Kenyon Drake's a guy who has like 6 weeks of like production. I know like Adam Gase might have held him down in Miami in general, but it's not like we're looking at Ezekiel Elliott's back up here and Tony Pollard, who also has upside, but like this can be, it doesn't take an injury. It could just be Kenyon Drake stinks for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing I've been thinking about a lot lately, and I've talked about this on a few shows, is like thinking about the different profiles of your running backs. Obviously, we're banking on Mixon being that elite bell cow guy. Akers we're banking on him kind of being the clear dog there. Zach Moss, both standalone value and big upside, and then Chase Edmonds as a pure handcuff. So I like getting a variety of these guys with different profiles. And in this contest, I don't mind doing more pure handcuffs, just trying to get that bell cow back who, is a league winner. Yeah,
I completely agree. I like the overall balance of it, just to try and have one of them hit. And yeah, like I think the way that this sets up, if we think Mixon based on the draft capital is, and we got him in the 2nd round, so that's great. But if Akers is the guy out there, or at least becomes the guy pretty quickly, like it's a great draft, regardless of what these other guys do towards the end of this.
So I know you mentioned there are still some running backs that you have ranked pretty high on the board. I think construction wise, we should probably go running back. But if you prefer one of those wide receivers, I think we could do that as well. What's your lean?
Yeah, the wide receivers stand out more to me. But overall, what is this? This is just 20 rounds, right? Not 22.
Yeah, we got 4, or no, we'll have 4 picks after this.
Yeah, some of these receivers will definitely drop. There's so many receivers left. So I think running back probably makes the most sense. I mean, I'm looking at like in terms
Gibson,
of upside.
What do you think about him?
I was about to say it's like I was gonna say like the Gibsons, the McFarlands, and the Joshua Kelly stand out, but like the guy to come in right away and have just 6 catches week 1 would be Gibson, depending on how they use him. So yeah, I think he probably stands out the most, especially for the way we're building. But yeah, it's really just like all the rookie running backs are the only ones that are maybe Justin Jackson, but yeah, I think Gibson's the one that I like the most.
For sure. And I think you made a good point too about Gibson being a guy that can come in right away and catch passes. He's a converted wide receiver as well. And again, talking about the different profiles of running backs, we don't have necessarily a huge pass catching floor yet looking at these running backs. So if Gibson can give us that with some extra upside, I like how that rounds out our running back portfolio diversity, if you will.
Yeah. And like Gibson, obviously, like he went into the draft as a running back. I think they said wide receiver on draft night, but like he wants to be a running back. It makes sense for teams to title him a running back because they just get paid less money. But overall, like he played majority wide receiver last year due to injuries on the team. So like in terms of where he was lining up. So there's a really good chance that he just comes out and he's playing like slot receiver for the Redskins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really good chance relative to what people think.
And those are the kind of backfields we want to target for zero running back. I mean, there's so much uncertainty with that Washington backfield. I know there's been a workout videos of Darius Geis. Everyone's getting excited about him, but he is no for sure thing. They draft Gibson. There's a lot of uncertainty. I know they still like Bryce Love. Adrian Peterson's still there. So you want cheap, exciting profile guys in uncertain backfields, and Gibson checks every one of those boxes.
Yeah, 100%. He's the coach already said Christian McCaffrey, so 100%.
Yeah, that's right. That's all we need is you see we're torn though in multiple directions. It's like we see a Geis workout video. Oh, we want Darius Geis. Oh no, Antonio Gibson was just compared to Christian McCaffrey. We got to go there.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I think we're just so bubbled in that like obviously nobody gives a shit about any of that. But like in our industry, the heads explode when like Rivera literally just said this guy can catch and run. That's like the comparison he made to McCaffrey. Not that he is. And then the workout video, I was watching it and I was like, I mean, I can't like twist and move that fast, but I'm not like impressed that he made an over the shoulder catch.
No, and you know what? I think everyone in their heart of hearts actually isn't impressed either. I think it goes back to this broken brain need for stimulus. We're all sitting around on Twitter. We all love fantasy football. There's nothing going on. We saw it first.
Attitude, like, check this out.
Yeah. It is just like, oh my God, it's a real life human doing a physical thing with a football. Like, I think we just lose our minds when that happens. Okay, your guy Michael Pittman does go off the board. One thing we should check in on with 4 picks left is our quarterback and tight end positions. I think with tight end, we can get away with Kelsey and Gesicki. Do you think we should have 3 quarterbacks, or do you like the idea of going really fragile there?
I kind of like 3 quarterbacks and just making it like a lot. Like if it's like Tua in the 20th round, like in this format, I like something like that. But yeah, like I don't want to be taking whatever like middle of the road quarterbacks are left in these rounds. But if it's like some sort of upside pick, a Tua, all the other guys are gone though, that would really fit that. I guess Gardner Minshew, those types of guys late.
Yeah, it looks like Minshew just went. I think we can probably sit on this and get a Tua or a Fitzpatrick late. I don't see that being an issue. Tight end, Irv Smith and Ebron are pretty intriguing to me because there's a tier break after that, I'd say. Do you have those guys ranked in an interesting way?
I have Ebron 22, Irv Smith 26.
Okay, so
I have them kind of like paired with Gerald Everett, just ahead of like Jace Sternberger's. Is Ian Thomas still there, or did he go too?
Ian Thomas went.
Okay.
Yeah. So it
is kind of a tier break. Like there's like 4 guys, and then after that, I don't even want to draft like any of the tight ends left.
Yeah. Who are you leaning here then? I can go back to the board here. We do still have.
I'm trying to look at what's left. I keep trying to see if guys are on the board or not. What were you going to go with?
I was going to say AJ Dillon again, kind of rookie running back, interesting profile, lots of draft capital. But I want to hear your thoughts.
I like Deshaun Jackson right now. It's a totally different position. But I don't mind Dillon. I guess I'm salty because I guess maybe I am a former Packers fan. I don't really get enjoyment anymore out of watching like football teams, like specifically as much as players. But yeah, I guess I'm not as much on AJ Dillon, but I could be talked into it. I like Deshaun here.
Yeah, let's do Deshaun. He's fallen pretty far based on ADP. It is unfortunate that we just drafted a wide receiver who was officially canceled in the previous weeks, but Sal has uncanceled him on our squad. The rehab PR image is in effect.
Yeah, somebody at him for me. Tell him I got him if he needs some help.
There you go. Okay, so coming back here, I do think we are officially done with wide receivers now. We do want to pencil 1 spot in for a quarterback, and I still like a couple of these running backs here. I'm thinking we're probably 2 running backs and a quarterback to finish out.
Yeah, we don't need no more tight ends. I think we're good on receiver. We got like 8. So
yeah.
2 running backs makes sense to me, and then whatever's left at quarterback. I guess it'll depend. Like Tua does make a lot of sense because we got Preston Williams and did we got Preston Williams?
Yeah, and we got Gesicki.
So like even reaching on Tua, I'm not against. Maybe not here, but I don't know if he makes it back to 18.
I know. I'm looking at this. I almost think we shouldn't mess with it. So Tyrod Taylor went. Sam Darnold went. I think because we want to fulfill that stack, I think, and because we don't necessarily love any of the running backs, I say we just grab him now.
Yeah, so you prefer Tua over Ryan Fitzpatrick then?
I do. Just again, in this upside scenario, we want Tua starting by week 4 and then just being an amazing rookie quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, it's every other place that Tannehill's gone when he throws, or not Tannehill, Fitzpatrick's gone. He'll have a 3 interception game, and it's the perfect reason to make the excuse to switch.
Yeah. And again, we're drafting this team with very optimistic upside scenarios. And again, it's the logic I've been preaching with the stacks. If Preston Williams and Gesicki hit as picks, late round picks, it's going to be tethered to their QB in a big way, which we're just going to make the bet that it is to us. So I like the pick there in this upside tournament.
Yeah, I agree. Especially because where we're taking him, other people might not, and they also probably don't have the stack combined with it. So there's a chance with just 5,000 people in here that we are maybe the only people who have that Preston Williams, Gesicki, Tua type of a stack.
Yeah, that has been one of the fun things with the Scott Fishbowl is Josh ADHD's app, where you can look at the specific pairings and who drafted. And, it's fun to be like, okay, I was the only person to draft DJ Moore, Nuke Hopkins, and Juju Smith-Schuster. You can see how quickly you can get unique, even a 1,400 person contest.
Yeah, 100%. And I actually like that. You kind of know who you should actually be trying to root a little bit harder for.
Yeah. It is true. Yeah. Where am I differentiated at? Who were some of your big picks or guys that you made sure to get in the fishbowl?
Yeah, so I'll pull it up right now. So I took Kelsey in the first, and then I took Sanders in the second. So those are my early ones. I almost kind of regret what I did in the third and fourth. I double tapped QB with Wentz and Stafford. I didn't know there was sort of a run starting in my league. There was 3 out of 4 picks before that went quarterback. So I didn't know if people were just going to run with quarterback. But I probably could have ended up piling up another running back there because I feel thin at running back. I've got, which I don't hate. I've got Sanders, Montgomery, James White. It's not that thin. Duke Johnson. It worked itself out a little bit.
Yeah. As we wait here to make our final 2 picks, let's check in on friends of the show's team. So we got Willis here with the mega robust start, and he did abandon it after that. Got some nice wide receivers here. He got my guy Chenault, rounded it out with some interesting tight ends. I don't mind it. Willis, after your high testosterone start.
I tried to write high T on this board before our draft started, and I realized it's going to come in backwards. And I tried for maybe 10 seconds to write it backwards, and I was like, I can't fucking do this.
Dude, it's funny you say that because the other day I was doing a TikTok and I forgot I had written something on a bottle, and I forgot. Yeah. But the nice thing in TikTok is they have the mirror thing, so I was able to switch it.
That's so nice.
It's so nice because you forget all the time. You write something down, it's like, no, this doesn't work.
Yeah, that's funny.
Who I was going to look at Hayden's team. He's out here. Okay, he went with the very fragile, hyper fragile start too. Henry, Drake, Edwards-Helaire, and then hit Scott. I like that. Not going back to it. Ton of interesting wide receivers here, loading up on some of the rookies, and then rounding it out at tight end with a stud and 2 backfill guys in Everett and Sternberger. I like that. You can check out Eric Belair here. Watson, Breeze, Garoppolo. Carson White, Duke, Tevin Coleman, Sony, Darrington Evans, very 0 RB build here with some stud wide receivers. Looks like Eric might bang another tight end here. We are almost on the clock. Let's check our running backs. Who you like in here?
Yeah, so I'm looking at right now. It went the last couple of rounds. McFarland stands out, but I almost think he's like Darwin Thompson. He fooled gold kind of. But I guess I don't mind him for what's left. I think Joshua Kelly already went. Yeah, there's really not much down here. You can start to take some risks on Jerick McKinnon and those types of guys. If McKinnon's going to come back.
Oh yeah, I actually like that McKinnon call a lot, especially, and I don't think it's going to happen, but you get a little extra equity if Mostert,
Yeah, that's the thing. I think they probably give Mostert $500,000 bonuses or something and just make him happy. But we don't know what McKinnon is much younger than Mostert, and if he comes back healthy, is probably better or right up there. So, yeah, I mean that's just a guy in these rounds that make sense for the format, similar to what we were doing with Tua.
Yeah, the other guys that stand out to me here, and I say this with the snakes lying in wait. Benny Snell is interesting to me. There's been really good pub from him from the Steelers. They just seem to really like him. Lynn Bowden checks that kind of rookie black box. where he's going to catch some passes as well, because I don't think Jacobs is going to catch a ton. And then also you mentioned Anthony McFarland. So a couple Steelers guys, Bowden, who do you like of those three?
Yeah, I think Bowden is one that stands out the most. Like, there's no major preference there, but similar to what we did with Antonio Gibson, like Bowden can play slot. Like he can move around the field a little bit. It might be like 10 snaps a game, 8 snaps a game, but it's just a way to show him that he could do a little bit more.
Kevin is asking what fishbowl division you are in.
Yeah, I'm in Mask. I think you can look it up just by my Twitter handle on the app.
Yeah. Willis says, thanks. I thought you might like the Cowboys and semi-brown stack. No, I actually don't like the semi-brown stack because you prevented us from completing the stack. So no, Willis, I don't like it.
I can't tell. I can't tell if that was part sarcasm or not.
Kevin's saying he's in the same draft as you for the fishbowl.
Yeah, I thought I noticed the emblem a little bit, or the logo.
I've said a lot of mean things about Kevin's fishbowl draft. So Kevin, I just want to say I think you did a great job in there. You know, I have no ill will against you for going 0 wide receiver. I'm sure you're right and I'm wrong. Okay, we are on the clock here for our last pick. Should we do Bowden?
Yeah, let's do it. I like it.
Is it Bowden or Bowden?
I have no idea. I think I call him Lim Bowden.
See, this is the thing. How do you do that? Because you do a ton of different sports. Like I was doing a stream the other night for the MMA card, and I was like, dude, this is a disaster trying to know.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I think I did a stream on Saturday. Like for basketball and stuff, there's like a couple names. So I like make the conscious effort to like look up their name and try and find a highlight sometimes. But the stream on Saturday, I just did it for MMA. Like people asked me, and I had like 10, 15 minutes. So I did it from like a DFS perspective, like what I was doing in like Fantasy Cruncher. And there was like 2 comments. The one guy was just like, you don't know the names. Clearly you don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, I literally wrote back. I was like, I literally don't know the names. I was like, you are correct, sir.
It's true. It's true. I know. It's like, you know, I think it's still hard for people to wrap their heads around that you can do content not being intimately familiar with the players from a narrative level. And it's like, we got the numbers to look at and we can get the job done that way.
100%. Like Osimo became the number 2 League of Legends player in the world behind you, like literally 3 days into playing League of Legends when guys have been doing it for years.
It's true. It's true. Okay, guys, the Best Ball Championship is officially gone. I tabbed over to the lobby here. It is no longer in here, which means it's Bills, which means Sal and I got a hold of one of the last drafts.
Shut the bar down.
We shut it down. Last call. It's done. Give us your overall thoughts on this squad. It'll pop up here in a second when this draft finishes. We'll be able to look at it in the full view, but maybe start giving us your overall breakdown of how you feel about this team.
Yeah, so I can see our start of it in the bottom right. I like the style of like quarterbacks that we have, like guys who have the ability to just pop off for 500 rushing yards, maybe even more depending on like how quick Tua starts. So yeah, I like the way that we go with the quarterback upside because you don't need all 3 to pop off. And like you're talking about like with running backs, sort of like a different portfolio. The style of those quarterbacks, like you just need one of those guys. Like if Cam comes out and rushes for 600 yards in an offense or offensive coordinator that did something very similar with Tim Tebow, and Cam's definitely better than him. Yeah, I like the way that goes. I'm like always hesitant with waiting on running backs, but in these style of drafts where it's just so top heavy, it makes sense to get different, and you're just automatically different and going to be a lot more unique in the type of players that you have when you do that. So I'm happy you got Mixon in a second. I have so much of that guy. But yeah, I actually like it. Like a lot of guys that I'm high on DJ Moore, DK Metcalf this year. I think Landry and Cooks are just like safe options that just have like wide receiver 1 type upside, but their floors are just so high. And then Deshaun Jackson, where we got him, I think that was just like a factor of drafters like ADP because I think he could have went like 2 rounds earlier.
Nice, dude. Yeah, I agree. I like this team a lot. It is, I think it's built with a very fragile nature to, if it does hit a few of these upside scenarios, it can really be in the mix. And yeah, I was stoked to squeeze one of these drafts in before it filled, and also stoked to do a show with you, Sal. I know it's been a long time in the works. We wanted to do something, so I appreciate you hopping on.
Yeah, no, for sure. Anytime you want to link up for some content, just let me know. I'm down.
Awesome. Let the people know what you got going. You got a lot of stuff going on. Let them know where to find your stuff.
Yeah, it all pretty much all the roads lead to Twitter. So at SalVetri and then my YouTube channels, it breaks down into a podcast. But if you just search my name on anywhere, you'll end up finding the content for right now. It's a lot of NFL videos for season-long prep, and then just the golf is the big thing for DFS for me right now.
Awesome, guys. Yes, definitely check out Sal's stuff. Lots of good stuff over there. Thank you to drafters for hosting this tournament. It's been fun to get a big tournament itch scratched. So for Sal Vetri, I am the deposit king. We'll see you guys next week on, or not next week. I'll be back on Friday with a randomizer draft. Need to book a guest for that. So we will see you guys then. Peace.